What is going on, guys? This is Miasin, and today I wanted to kind of talk about a really obscure, kind of forgotten hand shop, really underexplored, really underappreciated, and it is Retaliating Sea. Basically, whenever your opponent activates a spell card that includes an effect that special summons a monster quick effect, you summon it from the hand, and then while it's on the field, summoned by this summoning condition, it kind of behaves like a macrocosmos, so it affects both players. And whenever it is sent from the field to the grave, you get to search your deck for an earth monster with, an earth insect. Yeah, changes everything, right? With 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand. So in other words, while there is no max C in the game, this is usually not searching jack shit unless you're playing Beat Trooper. But if you're playing Beat Trooper, we have a different kind of problem at our disposal. But yeah, today I will be going over all the best applications for this card. But before this video goes any further, I would really appreciate it. I would love you so much if you could smash the like and subscribe button. There you go. You are the best. Thank you, and with that being said, let's get right into it. Alright, so first things first, I'll kind of explain that this card can only be used when your opponent activates a spell card that includes an effect that special summons a monster. So in other words, if your opponent activates Zodiac Barrage, you can't chain Retaliating Sea to Zodiac Barrage because the activation of Zodiac Barrage doesn't special summon a Zodiac monster from the deck. The activation of Zodiac Barrage does nothing. Literally nothing. Continuous spell cards in a nutshell. They usually just do nothing. With that being said, Zodiac Barrage does have an ignition effect where you, once per turn, you can destroy a face-up card you control and then special summon a Zodiac monster from your deck. You cannot chain Retaliating Sea to that because, again, Retaliating Sea can only be chained to spell cards that include an effect that special summon a monster. That is a spell effect to special summon a Zodiac monster from the deck. So again, Retaliating Sea can only be really used against like normal spells and quick play spells. So yeah, don't expect it to work against like field spells and continuous spells and stuff like that. It's not really gonna work. With that being said though, it does have a lot of really nice targets. And the first one is a card that is just being played like left and right in this format. It's original Sinful Spell Snake Eye, which is a card that the fire decks, so Snake Eye, Fire King, etc., they're always going into, and they're not really playing around Retaliating Sea whatsoever when they're doing that because, like they can't predict that you're playing this card. As a matter of fact, they're not playing it themselves, so they can't cross out it, or they can't use Call by the Grave because it doesn't, discard itself like the other hand traps. It summons itself from on the field. And the original will always lose out to Retaliating Sea. It's always going to get banished, and then whatever, like, monster that you summon and, like, link off are also getting banished. So even if your opponent goes into, like, an SP to banish the Retaliating Sea, you're still winning in that trade because your opponent is going to pass turn on SP pass. And, that's good enough because instead of, like, your opponent having, like, an unbreakable board, having only Retaliating Sea as your one and only hand trap is already better than having Nibiru as your one only hand trap against that deck, for example. And the odds of them requiring original Sinful Spell Snake Eye, to get started are very high because unless they're starting with Snake Eye Ash and Bonfire, which are the only one-card combos that do not play into Retaliating Sea, Snake Eye Populous does, Diabellstar does, Wanted, original itself, and then One for One even, and then Lullaby of Obedience, because the activation of the card still potentially could special summon a monster, so you can still chain Retaliating Sea, even if, like, you're not really trying to special summon the monster to your opponent's field. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, because this happens on resolution. It's not like Triple Tactic Talents where it happens at activation. So yeah, Retaliating Sea, pretty good against the far decks, but not main deck worthy. It's really just a side deck card. I mean, this is valid at any really given format. Unless it's like the Metal Force format back in 2016, where this card could also search Maxi, then obviously you're trying to main deck the card, because you can go normal summon Retaliating Sea and then destroy it, and then search Maxi. That's a little too good. I don't know if it's ever going to become that good again, but in the OCG, bro, they can do all kinds of things. Anyways, the other deck that loses pretty hard to Retaliating Sea would be Purely. Every single Purely quickly spell card is, a spell card that tries to special summon a monster from deck, or at least includes an effect that can. So even if they got like 0 cards in the hand to discard to summon a Purely monster from the deck, the card still includes an effect to do that. So you can still chain Retaliating Sea, and that hurts a lot. So you can use it against freaking like what, 10 cards? 3 threes? Yeah, 10 and 10 in total. But if they go like normal summon a kitty and then use their effect to like overlay and like kind of dodge like Retaliating Sea the hard way, then yeah, obviously it's gonna hurt because Pure Lily can use the cards from the hand, so even under Shifter they can still kind of play the game a little bit, but it still does something. And also you're gonna start your turn with a level 4 monster on the field, so that's always nice. Because when I used to play Math Mech, for example, Retaliating Sea was great for me. I could use it to hurt my opponent, but also get my stuff going, because now I was only one level 4 monster away from, being able to play the game. I could have like addition or subtraction, special summon that, and then make Alambrician, search Circular, and then it's just like OTK out of nowhere. So if you can find like similar interactions where, you know, Retelling Sea is not only just good at hurting your opponent, but also very good at helping you, then I definitely recommend playing this card. And also, again, if you can search Earth Insect, that's also really appreciated, but bro, insect monsters are garbage. I think Konami knows that. They're never gonna make insect monsters good, because then not only does it limit card design, they can't unban Max C because now it becomes like way too easy to search, but also Retelling C becomes like freaking broken as hell. So yeah, I think they're destined to stay garbage the way they are. Anyways, Despia. Alright, so another deck that can lose to Retelling C depending on how your opponent plays it out, but they can also not lose to Retelling C, because if they go Branded Fusion to like Lubellion into Mirror Jade by sending Tragedy, then they can still search the Aluber, and then that gets them to like a whatever a search. Doesn't really do too much because the Mirror Jade cannot send, cannot banish, because, well, I mean, cannot use its effect to send from the extra deck to the graveyard to banish, because the send from extra deck to grave is a cost. So obviously that is an illegal move under Retelling C. So while you control that Retelling C, the Mirror Jade is dead. The issue is by the time it gets to your turn, you're eventually gonna have to remove the Retelling C from your field, which then turns on the Mirror Jade again. So, you know, they can still end on Mirror Jade no problem, and that's still gonna be an inconvenience for you. Rinbrum is another monster that they can end on with, and it's just like it's another negate and a bounce. Very scary. And yeah, they can also like send, I mean, nah, I don't think they're really gonna benefit off of, oh no, yeah, they can send Sharbrigade Mercurier and then search the Spriggan's Kit. Yeah, that also hurts. Yeah. So yeah, Rinbrum and Mirror Jade can kind of play through Retelling Sea, so it's not that great, but if you've got like absolutely nothing, right, you might as well still side it in against Despia, because if you're playing against someone who's not really prepared against this card, or if they're playing like a, you know, a combo heavy version and they're trying to Gimmick Puppet lock you, at least you're safe from that, because they can't foolish the Gimmick Puppet Nightmare with Grand Guignol. So, you know, it's not, it could have been worse. Alright, so against Voice's Voice now, they got 3 cards, or 3 ways to Ritual Summon. They have Prayers, which is a Ritual spell, and then they got Saphira's Graveyard Effect, and they got Blessing, which is the Continuous Spell card, the new card from Legacy of Destruction. Blessing, even though it's a spell, the effect that tries to Ritual Summon is obviously a trigger effect. So in other words, forget about Retelling Sea, it's not going to be utilizable against them. Saphira, same thing. Prayers is the only card that you can kind of catch with Retelling Sea, but it's very unlikely because the majority of the time they're using Saphira to Ritual Summon, and Prayers, unless they draw it, like they hard draw it with their, like as their only way to really play, or if they got like pre-prep and they really have to rely on it, Retelling Sea is typically going to be dead. But if it's not dead, then it's really good, because then they lose the Prayers, they lose like no Vox if that's what they use as their ritual material. It can do quite a lot. Like the Voice's Voice deck, not super ideal under Shifter-S cards. Even though, like, I've heard some people say, like, yeah, we can play Shifter in the deck. No, you can't. No, just stop the cap. Anyways, another deck that I think loses super hard to Retelling Sea would be Recast Novelon, because the way they go into the Sunseed, Genius, Slow Sea, whatever, they have to rely on Unexpected Die. That summons the monster from the deck directly. And then when you hit them with Retelling Sea, then they can't really do too much. And they also have, like, the Sunseed, like, Sowing or something. I forgot the name. The card that he searched with the Link 1, the Dreas. So yeah, you can also hit them there. It should do the job, honestly. I think it's a good card against them. But again, unless you're in Europe, you don't really have to care about that deck because that deck is not real. Okay, so Sky Striker or anything that plays the Sky Striker engine, Retelling Sea is obviously really good because if they summon their token, then their Kagari is basically a Garnet. It literally just does nothing. Actually, it's worse than a Garnet because it has 1500 attack. Don't even disrespect my boy Garnet like that. It has 19. It's a big boy. He's strong. Against anything that plays the Sprite engine or the Sprite deck itself, Retelling Sea is not the greatest because by the time they get to search Sprite Starter, they probably either already have like everything that they need, or they already went into Gigantic, and Retelling Sea summons itself as a level 4. Obviously, it's a level 4, so Gigantic, it prevents that from happening, so yeah, keep that in mind. Not the best against them. With that being said, though, Retelling Sea is absolutely game against anything that plays the Runic engine. They got 15 cards that have to special summon a monster, pretty much. But again, this card is just like Triple Tactic Talent. At activation, you have to declare whether you're trying to special summon a Runic monster from your extra deck, or if you're trying to use their unique effect. And Retelling Sea cannot be used against any of their unique effect because none of them try to special summon. You can only use it against, like, if they're trying to summon, like, the Hugin and stuff like that, which obviously would hurt, because if they don't have, like, Runic Tip or Runic Fountain, Retelling Sea is just game against them. But you also cannot normal summon Retelling Sea and have the Macrocosmos-esque effect, so also keep that in mind. Otherwise, it would have been, like, so freaking broken. Like, if you want the Macrocosmos effect, it really does have to be off of its effect from the hand, so it's really reactive, unfortunately. but still, more often than not, mathematically speaking, you know, potentially statistically, right, Retelling Sea is still a very good card against, honestly, anything Runic, even Runic Stun, right? Because I remember at YCS Rally, Retelling Sea was in my side deck until the very last second, and then I removed it and replaced it with something else. Or maybe I had it, I actually forgot, but I don't think I cited it in. It doesn't matter. I didn't play against. I only played against fire decks. And no, hold on a second. Yeah, no, I did remove the Retelling Sea last minute. There we go. Anyways, Dragon Link. That deck is not real. Borreload Savage got banned, but yeah, it only hurts quick launch, and that card is also irrelevant. Same thing with Emergency Teleport. Who the hell plays that card? And now for Raid Raptor. Yeah, this is one of the nastiest applications. Raid Raptor always has to go into Skip Force to transform the, oh my god, what's the name again? Brave Strix into Arsenal Falcon. And this is like their biggest choke point, because then you hit them with Retelling Sea. The Skip Force gets banished, so that also like worsens their follow-up. And then if they go like link out the Arsenal Falcon for the White Strix, Arsenal doesn't trigger to summon Ultimate Falcon. And then all of the materials, like all the XCs rank 4, rank 5, they get banished, so they never have access to Rising Rebellion, and that is absolutely game. So yeah, Retelling Sea is the one hand shop where if it's like your one and only hand shop against Raid Raptor, you know for a fact that you're always winning, because if it's like Valor, Emperor, Mourner, Ghost Ogre, they can play through it or around it. If it's like Valor, Emperor, Mourner, then they can have the Raider's Wing underneath the Raider's, Raider's Wing under Raider's Knight, and then you can't target their monster. And if it's like Ash, then it doesn't do much, because if they got like 2 extenders on Ashing the Rank Up Magic, they can still full combo through it. And if it's like Ogre, then it's the same thing as like Ash, Emperor, and Valor. They can still play through it if they got like 3 extenders, which for some freaking reason my opponents always do, right? But I never, no. When I play the deck, no, forget it. It's always the bare minimum, right? But yeah. And against like anything, it just plays a bunch of Monster Reborn-esque cards. Mana Dome is garbage now only because of Baron got banned, right? It's pretty much the same thing as Dragon Link with only 1 extra deck monster being banned. But yeah, if like some people play like some Monster Reborn-esque engines again, you already know that Retelling Sea could be a decent options, but only if these cards are always searchable and always happen very early on in the combo. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts about Retelling Sea in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.